to the National Executive, the members and the ghosts of the Australian Democrats. We need to talk. And what I'm about to say is not a criticism. It's a genuinely heartfelt plea. On the surface, the 2025 federal election looked like business as usual. Labor won a landslide, 94 seats. Anthony Albanese is secure. The system works. But if you look at the actual numbers, Australian democracy is balancing on a knife's edge. Labor's landslide was built on sand. Their primary vote hovered just 2% above its historic low from 1934. They aren't governing because they are loved. They're governing because the alternative collapsed. And here's the statistic that should be keeping all of us up at night. According to the 2025 Australian Electoral Study, for the first time in history, the number of Australians who feel no closeness to any political party, 25%, has overtaken the number of rusted-on Liberals, 24%. The centre of Australian politics has been hollowed out. The electorate is homeless, and you, the party founded to occupy that exact space, are nowhere to be found. But why is the centre empty? Because the Liberal Party has abandoned it. Under Angus Taylor, the coalition has pivoted hard to the right to fight a culture war. They've adopted the back on track platform, nuclear power, anti-net zero, strict immigration value tests. They think this is smart politics. They think they are energising their base. They are terrified of One Nation, which is surging in the regions, but by chasing the fringe, they're committing demographic suicide. The conservative maturation theory, the idea that people turn right as they get older, is dead. Look at this. In 2016, 38% of millennials voted coalition. In 2025, it's 21%. These people are in their 40s now. They've got jobs, they've got families, but they're not voting Liberal. Why? Because the coalition offers them nothing on housing affordability and threatens their future on climate. And it's even worse with women. We're seeing a massive modern gender gap. The coalition attracted 9% fewer voters from women than men in 25. They've alienated half of the population. And you might say, but wait, the centre isn't empty, the Teals filled it. And yes, the teal independents in Kooyong, Wentworth and Curtin proved that the market exists. They proved that Australians want fiscal responsibility combined with climate action and integrity. But the Teals have a fatal flaw. They're the Louis Vuitton of political movements, expensive, exclusive, and only available in the wealthiest postcodes. They can't scale. You can't run a teal candidate in the outer suburbs or the regions where the cost of living crisis is actually biting. A barista in Western Sydney or a nurse in Geelong can't relate to the specific wealthy demographics of a teal electorate. And let's be honest about what the Teals are. Research from the ANU and Guardian Australia analysing the 47th Parliament shows that despite calling themselves independent, the Teals voted with high cohesion. On many measures, they acted like a political party in all but name. And if they're going to vote like a bloc, the Australian public deserves a transparent National Party platform, not a loose collection of wealthy independents. And that is where the Democrats come in. Australia has a unique safety mechanism, compulsory voting. In the US, you win by driving your base crazy so that they turn up. In Australia, everyone has to turn up, and this means elections are won in the middle by the median voter. Research published in the American Political Science Review confirms that compulsory voting reduces polarisation because it forces parties to compete for the centre. But right now, the Liberals have broken that rule. They've vacated the centre to fight One Nation on the right. Labor's trying to straddle the middle, but they're weighed down by a rusted-on factional system and a primary vote that is barely breathing. The others vote is at 33.6%. A third of the country is screaming for an alternative. They want a party that isn't beholden to the unions, like Labor, or the mining industry, like the Coalition. They want a party that believes in science but understands economics. They want the Teals for the rest of us. Now, this is not a criticism. It is a plea. The Australian Democrats used to keep the bastards honest. You were the safety valve, and right now the pressure is building. We have a government with a fragile mandate and an opposition retreating into American-style populism. We're drifting towards what political scientists call polarised pluralism, a fractured, angry system where nothing gets done. The Senate is your fortress. The Teals struggle there because they lack a statewide brand, an Australian brand. You have that history, you have that brand, but you cannot wait for the candidates to come and knock on your door. You need to headhunt. Find the moderate Liberals purged by the hard right. Find the pragmatic Labor figures tired of the factional warlords. The centre is empty. The data proves it. The voters are waiting, and if you don't step up, that space will be filled by chaos, gridlock, or worse. As Gough said in 1972, it's time.